Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Heel Podcast. We're here, your hosts, Scott and Mike. So, we have a jam packed episode for you today. We're going to be starting off with Tales of the Underworld, moving on to the latest episode of The Last of Us, then talking about the year three of Andor.
Yeah. Okay.
I know, no,
Technically.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. You know how many times I had to think that
I
through before I said
I
it?
know. I know. Yeah. I know what you're doing. Second year, season two, episode two, season two of Andor.
Yeah, the latest three episodes of season two of Andor. Sure.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Year two, technically,
no, it's year three. Anyway,
in the overall scope. We don't
yes.
know what year that actually is, to be honest, because this is some time has passed since season one. But anyways, continue.
No, they tell you exactly. In
Yeah. It was.
they even give you the name of the year at
Yeah.
the beginning of the episode. It's
Yeah. It
BBY
was.
5, and then it was BBY 4.
No. 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 I understand that, but I mean, what I meant was Andor season one. I don't remember what year that took place in.
It took a year previous of BB5, BBY 5.
I can see by your look that you're not positive in that.
No, it said a year later, so it's been a year since the last season.
Oh, did it actually? No, I
Yes.
mean I'm completely serious. I don't remember. So
The first episode of all three of all of these groups literally say 1 year later. 1 year has passed. They even said it
okay.
in episode 4. It's like a little.
No, I know that at the beginning it says a year later because it's saying the time jump of what happened. I did not remember seeing it in the first episode that said it was taking place after season one of Andor. So okay, that's fine.
Um,
I've had a long day.
that sounds like a you problem. So then after that,
It
we're gonna.
is, but it also translates to you being a you problem because then this happens and I interrupt you and it pisses you off and it makes me happy. So I'm gonna win this situation.
So anyway, then we're gonna move on to the Thunderbolts, and then talking about the two after credit scenes, and then moving on to doing the character spotlight for me. Mike's looking confused because he can't remember the second one, and once I say it, he'll start laughing. So let's move on right to Tales of the Underworld. So then we got part of the book.
Yeah, we did. Like a very very short snippet of that technically.
I mean, wasn't it the end or right before
Yeah,
the
it
end?
was they were laying her to rest and then it like picks up right away. So I did like that. I thought that was pretty cool. Um,
No, I agree.
it kind of shuts up the quote unquote Disney haters that they're retconning everything from the novels, and it's like, well, no, not really.
No, and I mean, it was nice to see Obi-Wan, and we get to see him. I honestly thought we were going to see him again.
I thought so too.
I thought it was going to be at the very, very end, even if it was just him watching her. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? But we didn't get that.
no, I knew the kid was gonna choose her. Like I as soon as I saw them going to, I'm like, okay, the kid's gonna choose her. It was nice. I did enjoy that. Seeing what Asajj has been up to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I mean, these types of they're not like the greatest things ever, obviously.
It's not meant to be groundbreaking,
No,
but
no,
it's
no,
just meant to,
absolutely.
you know.
It was one of those things where it was good. I personally like Cad Bane's better, significantly so, actually.
I'm in a double edge for that one because I did like it, but at the same time, it's one of those things where because of the type of character he is, I prefer not knowing him being more of a mysterious character. So the fact that we did get a little bit, it's a similar to Han Solo because it's like Han Solo is cool because you don't know why he's cool. So like
Okay.
it's one of those.
No, no, no. I
Uh,
get it. I get it. I get it. I thought it was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna sound weird. In the first episode, I wasn't sure which one was Cad Bane right away because I was like, I assumed it was the kid, and then I saw the guy in the hat, and I'm like,
Well,
"Am-
no.
was I
So
wrong the whole time?"
when I saw him watching, I was like, okay, maybe I'm incorrect, and
No,
he's
that's
he's.
exactly what I did. No, no, I did the same exact thing. I was like, all right, so obviously the blue one's Cad Bane, and this other one is his friend. And
Yep.
then literally I see the guy watching, and I was like, I'm not confident anymore.
Yeah, yep. And then obviously he talked,
But
and I
it,
was like, okay.
I also felt like this one was a better story.
It
Um,
was a very good story, and it does a lot of explanation. It gives a really good explanation of why he got to how he is,
I
like
mean,
that.
it doesn't at the same time, but like for the most part, it does. And you're right. I think the one
Yeah,
thing that I feel like we didn't figure out, which I kind of was hoping we would have seen a little bit, was why he has the breathing apparatus later.
I think it's just his species because so if you listen closely, his friend has that apparatus kind of as well.
Oh,
It's just a part of their species that it was very tough to pick up on with his friend, but when like I could hear it a little bit.
okay,
So I think it's just the species, but obviously I'm not 100% certain because I was wondering about that as well until I heard a little bit
okay,
like crinky in his voice.
okay. But yeah, no, I definitely have to say it was. I mean, it was. I like I said, I not that I didn't like the two of them. If I had to choose, Cad Bane's was better.
Yeah.
In my
I mean,
opinion.
it is. I think it's one of those things where you're more interested in Cad Bane versus Asajj Ventress.
I feel like I think you're partially correct, but I think the big thing too was like we already saw her go to the good side. You know what I'm saying? Where this didn't like not that it didn't tell a good story, but it was like it wasn't something like with Cad Bane we knew nothing about him.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So I think it was one of those things where we were like, oh,
yeah. No,
and
I agree with you in that.
and
Yeah.
apparently he he's a father, which
Yep.
is weird in and of itself, but interesting.
Well,
Um,
I mean, bounty hunters, they get into mischief. I can only
so
imagine how many kids he actually has.
well, I think the big thing was it was from a woman he actually loved.
Yes,
Which
that
is
yes.
I think the bigger difference out of anything else.
Hmm.
But no, overall really good. I enjoyed it. It was a good story. Um, I loved. I do have to say though, I did like the fight with the Inquisitor.
Yeah. Again, it was one of those things where I was a little disappointed that it was so short, but it was kind of meant to be.
No, I
Um,
know. I think that was kind of my thing too, where it's like I was hoping for a little bit more there.
mhm.
But I do get it. I get it because they can't be the only focus because it's only 45 minutes total
Yeah,
combined.
and I mean it's meant to show that the Inquisitors aren't actually that strong, so they can get
Also
you know
true.
overpowered very easily, even though they are very feared by everybody. Um,
No, I have to agree with you there. But yeah, overall, very good. Looking forward to seeing what's next.
yep.
But let us move on to The Last of Us, the latest episode. So this was different than what you described to me. I'll tell you that right now.
It was a little bit different, that's for sure.
Um, Not in a bad way, though. I thought this episode was really good and ended in a way where I go, I see where we're going.
Mm. I did enjoy. So this episode, I did enjoy the change that they made a little bit. Obviously, as I said, that they did still continue to make changes on it. Um, One of the big things comparing it to the game is that in the game, Nina is more of a like I'm gonna follow along because she loves Ellie. In this one, she's the one taking charge, and uh the affection thing isn't there, and like either she's like the game at this point is like full blown like they're
Oh,
together, whereas this one either they're hiding it or they're just trying to be like no, it was just an one-off accident kind of thing, and which I'm still not sure which direction they're choosing to go.
I, and this is my take
Hmm.
from somebody who has not played the game.
Yep.
It's clear on how they were talking is that they do both have feelings for each other. I think the idea is, and this is how I'm taking it,
Yep.
is not so much that they're not wanting to pursue it. We have other things to worry about. Let's not worry about a relationship. That's how I'm taking it. That's how I'm taking
I mean
it.
that's fair, obviously.
No, and to be fair, I mean it fits. And I think it, realistically, it would not make sense because of how they've portrayed these two characters in the show so far that
Mm.
they would be pursuing this relationship at this time just because of what has recently occurred.
I think one of the big things so the big thing for me, why I'm saying that it might be a little bit confusing, is that because in the game, once Nina and Jesse broke up, they were done. and they were friends. Nothing really else. Um, in the show, they broke up. Nina already went back to him, so that's why I'm like, okay, I feel like they might be trying to like just again cover their grounds because they're afraid of the backlash.
I mean, maybe.
But
I mean, that's
at the
still kind
same
of good.
time, like as I just said, could just be like you said, nervousness, and they have other things to worry about right now. Which,
And again, I think the other thing too that has to take into consideration is The Last of Us Part Two officially came out when, like the game.
yeah, I feel like it was like 2019.
Well, because those types of games take a while.
Mm,
And so like now and I know this is gonna sound weird to say, but like the writing had to change due to our society changing
20,
significantly.
2020.
Yeah, but my point I'm making is it was technically scripted well before that.
Oh, well,
No,
yeah.
but you get my point. My point I'm making is it's like so they. I have a feeling that the way we as a society think now in relationships wise is different. So because of that, it's changed in the way it's written here. Where I understand where you're coming from because of all the backlash that's been going on about
Mm.
homosexuality and everything else. Although I'm not saying it isn't a factor, it might be. I'm just stating that I honestly think because of how our society is, especially with relationships, I have a lot going on right now. I don't think we should be dealing with this right now.
I mean, yeah,
And again,
yeah.
I that's more of where I come from because I'm looking at it from the lens because realistically, this came out last year, and writing up for this show would have been a year, maybe two before that, and that was a lot closer than when it was written in the video game, meaning like to present times. I mean, sorry. So like the idea is
Yeah.
it's just it. Put it this way, I would understand if, as weird as it sounds, COVID changed a lot, as we know, and like the gap in between the game and the show is literally COVID.
No. It's it's been 5 years since COVID, but it actually feels like it's been 20.
but
So
but we changed so drastically. That's why we feel like it is,
yeah,
and that's more of what I'm getting at and why
yeah.
it could be different. But that's how I'm taking it, and that's why I'm not like because she's still flirting with her. It's not like they're like no, never. I could
The,
never be with a woman. Oh, you know what I'm
it,
saying?
it no, and now like the thing is like we're getting like like we're getting hooked on to something that isn't actually a major deal, but
No,
it's
because it's realistically their
it's
relationship
just
isn't like the relationship as a relationship isn't important. But what's
mm,
important is how they work together in that sense. And they
yeah.
are a great pair. Ellie is not the brains, nor has she ever claimed to be. And the other one is.
hmm Which, like I said, in the case of the show versus the game, that is a major difference because Ellie was the one that was taking charge, whereas this
But I
one,
think,
it's definitely Nina.
well, I think
Um,
hmm, I'm hesitant to say she's taking charge. I'll definitely say she's more assertive. She's probably more assertive. But I think
Ellie
Ellie
is
is.
Ellie's basically going, "I want to do this. Let's go. I have no plan."
Well, no, Ellie's
Versus,
doing it. Ellie's doing it regardless. She's like, "Why don't we take a minute? Let's plan it so we cannot die." And
and
then
she
we
already has the plan.
correct. No, I get
S-
that, but I think my point I'm making is the fact of like, she did that because she knew Ellie was going to be doing that anyway.
Yep.
So
I
it's
have to say though, so in the game, it is exactly the same where they wanted to take a group of 16 townspeople
oh okay,
and go hunting. They did
but
want to do that.
did it pass in the game?
So in the game, there was no council meeting though.
How
They just
dare they?
they just
Democracy ruined.
Maria just shows up and is like, "Hey, I know you're planning this. I can't approve 16 people going. Uh, this is at the point where Tommy just runs off, doesn't even tell anybody because he's like, I know Ellie's gonna do it. Please don't let her. I'm gonna take care of this." And Maria was like, "Listen, just go get my idiot husband. Go do what you got to do. I'm going to let you guys go. Keep the town safe because we need order over here and bring my husband back alive." Um,
Okay,
so like this whole sneaking out and whatever, that didn't happen in the game.
okay.
Technically it did because the town didn't really know it, but
No, but the
it
people
wasn't
who needed to
behind
know
exactly.
knew.
I
Um,
liked the I guess the
therapist.
restaurant guy.
Oh no. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Like him sticking up for them and whatnot, even though he doesn't like them. I did enjoy that.
I did too. I think also my favorite scene of the episode actually is a combination between him when he brings the horses,
Mhm.
um, and when is it Johnny? Is that his name? The brother? Tommy. Tommy. Whoa.
Oh, I'm like, who are you talking about?
No, I'm like
I
I'm
just said it too. So
you did, and I couldn't even remember it. So anyway, he goes to the therapist, and she's in the middle of the baseball field, and I'm thinking to myself, she's gonna get hit with a ball, and she doesn't have a care in the world, and she's just like, "Come on, guys, let's do this." And he's like, "Since when are you a big fan of baseball?" She goes, "Are you kidding me? I have season tickets here." And I'm just like, "Oh God."
and I love when he walks over. She's just like, I know you're not here because you care about me. What do you really want? Like, let's get this over with.
I think what's awesome though is she is hilarious, and she's literally the voice of reason that everyone needs, because at this point. I mean, obviously, when you think of therapy in general, she's not, and she admits it. Like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but who's going to be caring? Who's
Yeah.
watching?
Yep.
Nobody.
Like, there's
Um,
no one's gonna tell her no.
exactly. I mean, she goes, I'm also supposed to have a therapist to deal with this problem to talk to too, and I don't. So I just have a bunch of booze and weed. Um, and so I love her character. I love the actress overall. She's hilarious. I've loved everything she's in is incredible. But I think this character is oddly enough very important.
Mm.
In a way that I could honestly say when this season started, would never have guessed in a million years.
Yeah, she's playing important parts right now. Obviously, we'll see if this continues now that they're leaving the town.
I know.
So,
I think her role is going to be with character development with
mm,
our people and like making decisions where she's not going to be telling people what to do, but she's going to be like, "You already know what you want. Why are you
yeah.
even coming wasting my time?" Like I just did a bunch of I just did a bunch of shrooms and now I have to talk to you, that kind of thing. Um, and to be fair, would I be surprised? No. But I
No.
also am glad that we know that she survived though, because that was also another concern I had too of her dying.
Oh, yeah. And
Because
was
to
wondering if that was going to happen in the
to
last episode or not.
to be fair, I mean, I would have been a little ticked that she died off camera, but just because they made such a decision to have her face there.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, overall, I thought this episode was great. Oh no no we the wolves. So
Oh, right. Yeah, that's
so
right.
this there
That is a big difference.
so the wolves, and then I don't know what the other people were. The nomads.
So, in the game they're called the Scars,
Well, they're dead now.
and they're dead, which
Are they dead in the game?
no. They're so in the game, so this is where now I'm starting to get confused because I haven't finished this game yet.
Mike's like,
So
I
so
have
I,
to
I'm I'm
technically.
I'm just like, so in the game the wolves are terrified of the Scars. The Scars are brutal. Like when Ellie and Nina found a group of people and Nina went and threw up,
Mhm.
that was actually a bunch of wolves that were hung and brutally murdered. Now in this situation, it's the Scars. So I'm just like, I'm so confused as to what, like, is this a
Well,
different scene or are they just
well,
meshing things?
so the other thing too is we're assuming that that's all the scars.
Oh no, I mean it's not all the Scars. Like the Scars is a big group.
Oh, but they
Uh
split up like that normally. Or you
yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean they're spread out
Okay, all
and
right. So it's not so far fetched that all the scars are dead. I mean,
yeah, no,
meaning like let me rephrase it this way. Sorry,
there's
just to
they're
simplify.
all there's still more.
There are still more. Okay, so there's
Yeah.
like a bunch of different tribes of them.
Yeah, I mean they're all together, but they just like any other group, they like wander off, go looking,
No,
whatever.
understood.
They have their central location most likely. I haven't really found them like at that point yet, but I have been encountering them now more often and
But we also don't know
uh
who killed the scars either. We're
exactly.
assuming it's the wolves, but
Yes.
we don't know that for a fact.
Nope, that is for sure. Uh
And the
I thought it
wolves.
was interesting though that the wolves have like a military presence. Like legit military presence.
All right, so a lot of things with that, right? So I had a lot of
Yeah.
issues. So my issues actually has nothing to do with how it was written.
Mm,
It's their thought process as a military group.
mm.
I'm going to go into this building that has not been like
Oh.
has that is literally super tall and is falling apart.
Hmm.
And I'm just going to stand at the edge Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Yep, you're good. Like to me, that that was the least. As weird as it sounds, out of everything we've seen, including all of the friggin'
Out of all the zombies, like that's the
I,
most.
the zombies are more believable to me than
And then that lookout scene.
However, like the concept of it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you would have somebody looking out, and they divide it into sectors and everything else. However, the first thing I said when I saw all the tanks was, "That is stupid. Why are you wasting gas?"
Yeah, also
That
true.
was
Yeah,
that was my first thought
yeah.
immediately.
I actually didn't even think of that, but yeah, you need a
Because
lot of
it's
gas.
it's finite. It's
Yeah.
finite now. I mean,
Uh
granted,
huh.
it's always been finite, but I mean, like, it's even more
Now
finite.
it's like once you run out, that you cannot get more.
Correct. So I'm like it better be electric, but I'm like, there's no way it's electric.
There ain't no electric
No,
tanks.
but that's what I mean. Like I
Yeah.
mean, like it better be electric, but let's be honest, it's not electric. I think I would have been fine if I would have saw like a horse pushing it. You know what I mean? Like something's like as weird as it sounds.
Couple of horses pulling it or
Well,
something.
no,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't just going to be one, but you get my point. Like if it was, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have even batted an eye on it because I'm like, okay, they're using it as a protection thing. They got their military men, they got the horses, blah blah blah. You know, mentally, I'm like, okay, that would be fine. But the
Mm.
fact that you're wasting resources to me proves to me that your society sucks.
With multiple tanks too. It wasn't just one.
Well, the two that
So
we saw, and I'm imagining that's not the only lookout team.
I yeah.
So that
Plus
was
all the plus all the regular vehicles that they have.
like if again, if we didn't see the tanks, we just saw them walking.
Oh, that wouldn't have been obviously. Then they're not wasting anything.
No, I
Just
know.
energy.
Yeah, but you would be having to waste that energy anyway.
Yep.
So like to me that would have been fine. But no, it just was weird. Plus all the people that were there too. I mean, you get the tanks and the people, a little overkill. Um,
Hey, you find a horde, you need it.
I guess I don't know. Maybe it's an issue in the city that I don't understand. Um, but thought that was kind of cool. I will say this. I like to see the city literally covered in uh, foliage. That was kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Um, we also did. I don't even think we saw any. We didn't see any infected this time. This episode.
No, I don't believe we did.
Well, wait, I'll argue this. Maybe at the very beginning where all the dead bodies were, but that was maybe it.
I mean,
But I
there
don't
was
even count.
there was no like wanderers kind
No,
of
no, 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 no,
situation.
no, no, no. No, there was no interactions that I remember. So I'm assuming the next episode is going to be one of two things. They see the wolves and they run away.
Hmm.
Because it's going to be way too much for the two of them.
Hmm.
Because as soon as I saw that, I said the town is destroyed.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
didn't even need to. I didn't even. I wasn't even thinking of Ellie and what's her name? I almost said
Nina.
Abby, but that's the other one. What?
Nina.
Nina. Thank you. Um, and I'm like, I'm not even thinking of those two because they're dead immediately. But the town, I'm like, they're just gonna get run over. But maybe they don't have enough they don't have enough gas to get to the city to the city. So who knows? Um, but no. Overall, I thought this was a much better episode in the sense of like story development, in my opinion, and I'm very curious to see where the next episode goes.
Yeah. No, I definitely am. I'm still introducing. I'm still interested in what changes you're going to be making and whatnot, especially with me progressing more with
I'm
the
also
game.
curious of when it ends because
Yep.
it's been proven that the game is going to be more than one season, and
Hmm.
so granted, I think it's been officially just three
It's two.
seasons total, right? No,
I
meaning
thought it was.
no. Meaning, I'm sorry, I'm considering part one as well. Sorry.
So yeah, season
So
2 I believe is only supposed to be 2 seasons.
so part two is only going to be two seasons. Got it.
That's what I've heard.
No, no, that's
Obviously, we'll
fine.
see
That's
what
fine
happens.
because it was up in the air for a bit. Because the only thing that was confirmed was it was going to be more than one season. That was it. That was
Hmm.
the only thing that was confirmed. But no, overall, I mean, I definitely liked it better. We also got to see the democracy a little bit. I
Yeah,
also love that the guy's talking about the grains and nobody cares.
yeah.
And
Just like we're not here for that. Like,
I think what killed me was he goes, well, he goes, I don't think I have an opinion on that, so I figured I'd talk about this instead. Well, let's focus at the task at hand.
it's like, well, like that's too bad. We don't care about the greens right now. So,
And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, there's a bunch of people dead. I'm imagining. So in my mind, you need less grains right this second. As weird as it sounds.
you don't have to worry about as big of a production at the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking in the sense of like you have less people to feed, so
Hmm.
by definition you need less grains overall than you used to. But no, overall, I mean, like I said, very good. Like I said, I love seeing the drunk guy. Also, didn't know he had a limp. Didn't know he had a
Yeah.
limp. That was new for me. I wasn't prepared for that. Doesn't bother me. It threw me off for a minute, just because I didn't see him with a cane when he was dance at the dance.
Or at the restaurant.
Yeah, but I don't remember like seeing him walk that much because I'm wondering if in long distances, like on non-flat surfaces, he needs it.
Probably. I mean, he's
But
old.
and apparently he got shrapnel in his leg or up his butt. I'm not quite sure which. Um, I mean, he is grumpy, so it could be up his butt. You don't know. But yeah, so yeah, I'm very much looking forward to episode 4. I can't believe we're already there. Um,
Yeah, we're halfway through, right?
because it's 7 episodes technically this.
Okay, so
It's
we're
weird.
past.
It's
Yeah, we're
well, no,
past the halfway mark.
no, we're not. This we will. This tonight is
Tonight is
episode.
past. Yeah,
Yeah,
tonight is
yeah,
past the halfway point.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not seeing it till tomorrow, but yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna start watching it tomorrow morning.
But yeah, overall, like I said, very good. Let's move on to Andor because this was actually incredible. I gotta give them credit. This was very good.
I know I'm jumping ahead, but this is the one that's sticking out. The
No,
ending just was incredible with how she was able to. I won't say like come to peace, but like at least put her mind a little bit at ease by getting revenge on the one who tortured her.
I'll say it this way. I think the idea was, and I think this was the big thing was in her mind. And I know we're jumping ahead, but this was a theme throughout the whole 3 episodes, so it's not
Oh
like it
yeah,
ruins anything. I
no,
think the big thing was she was always afraid that he was going to come back and get her,
oh
and
yeah,
so the idea was that fear can't exist anymore. That doesn't mean she still won't have nightmares about what has happened, but she will not be worried that it will happen again from him because it
yep.
can't. Because
She doesn't have to. In her mind, her fear is always going to be related to him. So now that he is gone, she can she'll
I,
still need to look over her shoulder because she knows that she's in the environment where it's the Empire. But
but
it's like her assaulter was, your assaulter was gotten rid of. So now you can. It's just a weight lifted off of your shoulders.
she's gonna be she's again it's one of those weird things where it's not that it can't happen again. The idea is it's not going to be happening from him, and that's a huge weight off her chest.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we also saw it that it almost happened again with somebody else, but my point of making was, granted, not in
Well,
this 3 episodes before.
different situation, but
No, no, but you get my point though. But the idea is she's still terrified.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, um, yeah, that was fun. No, no, no. So I definitely like that just because it was kind of cool where she puts the thing on him, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be awful for later. And then she killed him, and I was kind of disappointed for one reason. I was hoping we'd see her torture him more, but I think obviously it made more sense because they can't stick around that they blew it
Mm,
up.
yeah. I was very confused at first because when she just walked out of the room, I was like, "Wait, what? She's just gonna leave him there for like?" And then see him starting to like begin the torture process, and then they just blow them up. I'm like, oh, okay.
No, that's I. You know what I did? Oh, the very same thing.
I was just like so confused at that for that moment. But I mean, the process of this episode of just Andor being terrified for her and her needing drugs to be able to just try to sleep because they've even
Yeah,
Luthen even came in and said like was talking to her obviously because he knows Andor's worried about her, but just it's telling her like the drugs are just only going to work for so long. Eventually, your fears are going to overcome them, and you're going to
it'll
need.
actually be worse. Is
Yeah,
what he said too, which was a
yeah.
big thing.
It's like it's going to get worse because then will no longer be able to function without it. So it's like
Oh, what's his
uh,
name? Is it? Oh, Lutheran. Sorry.
Lutheran. Yeah.
So Lutheran's character was fun. Like, I loved him in the first 3 episodes. I loved him even more in these three, because we got to see him we get to see the dichotomy so much between Lutheran and the head of the Republic. I mean, the head of the rebellion.
Mon Mothra.
No, him. No, I'm talking about him being both parts. Meaning like
Oh. I sorry. I thought you were saying having a conversation with.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, no. Meaning like seeing the dichotomy between the two.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and seeing him be both was just incredible. And also trying to figure out what's going on that planet that was like literally supposedly like useless in retrospect of like in the ideas of like the resources and everything else, because they're like, we don't even know why they're wasting their time there, but there's obviously a reason. What do we not know?
Yeah.
Which I thought was incredible. Also, I honestly thought Civil and Deidre broke up for a little bit.
You should because of their interaction.
No, because they weren't together, and then the interaction with his mother being like, "I thought you guys, I can't believe you."
Oh, yeah, yeah,
No, not
yeah,
because of their. No, no, no. Once I saw them together again, I was like, "Oh, oh, this is an act."
this is they're just playing the part. I
Honestly,
mean, I'll be honest. I knew that because of the way that the last episode ended. They're like, okay, we're gonna be working together and whatnot. So I'm like, when I saw them separate and his mother was like ragging on him for it, I was like, oh no, this is all part of their ploy.
yeah, he doesn't even know what the plan is. That's also the weirder part.
He knows that he has to just he knows that she's in charge and that he trusts her to that she's not misguiding him.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is the part I wasn't 1,000% sure on. The stuff that they want to mine from that planet is going to be used to create the lasers in the Death Star. Am I correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay,
Correct.
no, no.
Yes.
So we're on the same page. I
Yep.
I wanted to make sure, but I'm like, I feel like if it's not, then I have no clue what it could be.
I mean, if it's not, no matter what, it's
It's
something
for the
Death
Death
Star
Star. It's
related.
it's
I
for
mean,
the Death Star. Um,
but
I also love to Cassian basically being Lutheran for a second.
playing the part, like
Yes,
showing like his character development just in general, like
being more comfortable being the boss without being the boss type thing.
yeah, yep. And I mean, even still, like even though he knows he needs to do something, he's still looking out for the people because he's like, listen, don't kill yourselves because you're going to fail. Um, and that obviously ended up screwing them over, and they had to pivot because he wasn't willing to commit. But
Yeah,
shows that like he isn't at that point yet where he's willing to sacrifice everything. He still has a little bit of humanity in him.
yeah.
Um, before we continue though, I just recently learned this. Um, that the actor who plays Luthen, um, I didn't know this before, but he had a massive stroke that really took him out for a while, and him playing this role is like his first major role in the longest time. And he was worried while giving like speech, like at the end of season one, that big speech that he gave, uh that apparently is like it was his he was nervous the entire time that he was going to screw it up because he was worried that his stroke or his you know uh post effects, I guess, was going to affect him, that he wouldn't be able to p- fulfill his part
Interesting.
properly. um I didn't know if you knew that, so like I just
I
figured
did
I'd
not.
mention it.
I just assumed he didn't
um
have work recently. That's honestly what it was. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I'm just because of how actors kind of come and go. I wouldn't have.
yeah.
But no, he was also in Pirates of the Caribbean. He was also
I,
in.
I did I forgot about, I saw a scene recently and I'm like, oh, I didn't even it didn't even click in my head.
He's also the son. I mean, son. He's the father of the new It, Pennywise. That's
Really?
his son. That's his son.
Oh, okay. Now I understand now.
The new Pennywise.
So the no, so I thought you were talking about like the legit Pennywise, like that, like in the movie that like he is the father of Pennywise. I was
Oh
like, well, they went in that direction. Excuse
no, no,
me.
no. Sorry, 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 sorry. No,
Now I understand.
no, the actor. And that actor's been around for a while too. And in fact, that same actor who played Pennywise was also in Deadpool 2.
Who do you play in that?
He played the acid spitter.
I did know that. Yes. Um,
But anyway, so but
he's such a creepy guy.
no, he is. But I think it's the family. I know that's weird to say, but like all his sons are actors, shockingly.
Oh,
Um,
really? Huh.
and it's just funny to me because like I'll say it this way: other than like they don't look alike, like none of them. It's so weird. They just have the name, obviously, and that's what throws me off. But no, but he also was in Thor, as you know too,
Yep.
Lutheran, and then obviously in many Marvel projects after. Because
Wasn't in that many,
he
but
was in more than most. I'll say that. For a side character, he was in most. He was in a decent amount,
I think he was in like 4 or 5.
which
But
is still
still,
that's still a
still,
lot.
yes, decent amount. Yes.
I'm not. I'm again. I'm not trying to be a jerk about. I'm just saying, like in general, like that's still a lot. Like he's
No, it
not a
is.
Darcy level, but he's.
And
Um,
he's nowhere near Wong.
no, Wong is a different breed. Um, yeah, Wong is the. I think he has the most. Can't like he has the most movies under his belt without being the star in any of them.
Now, yeah, because they just started pumping him out after Endgame, Infinity War. I'd say he started like taking really picking up in after Infinity War.
Well, I mean, he's been in like I think all of Phase 5 he was in.
He wasn't in Deadpool and Wolverine, was he?
I'm gonna sound weird because I feel like in a like he was, but not really. Meaning like he was on the screens, but not himself. If you understand what I mean. Like it was like a you remember on the screens where they showed all like the different movies.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't count it. I'm just saying that would be the only thing I could say he was in for that. I'm trying to think of what else.
I mean, we know he was in She-Hulk.
So he was in She-Hulk. He was in Shang-Chi,
Yep. Um,
which were oddly related, which was interesting for me to put
yep.
those two together.
Um,
I mean, he's been
Obviously,
in
he's
what if?
in both Doctor Strange movies.
Yep.
He's in Infinity War and Endgame. So
Yes.
that's
Yep.
6. Um,
I feel like he's been in something else. Hold
he
on.
was in something else recently too. Because, like you said, he's like been the backbone of that situation. Was he in the Marvels?
No. But I
What?
but I
What
feel no
was
he
he?
was.
Was he in Miss Marvel?
No, nobody did a cameo in Miss Marvel.
Aside for Captain Marvel.
No. She was the after credit scene. I don't count that.
How does that not count? That's still a cameo.
All right, but in my mind it's like she's not nobody was in the show.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the point of the cameo is that it's just like it has no real impact on
No, because it
the.
was literally like the preview to the movie, so it really wasn't like
Well, I mean, my
that
point
scene
is
was
that
legitimately the movie.
kind of,
No,
but
no, not kind of. It was in the movie.
even still, my point is that because they made the appearance in that, they still. I mean, it's not like the cameo is meant to be a major part of it. It's just like, oh, this is something
No,
fun
to
that's going
me,
to be.
no. I guess my point is, it's like when I think of a cameo, I think it's in the middle of the show, where you're having it, where that's after the show is done. This is the after credits. That's a me thing.
I know, and I mean,
And you're
I see
wrong,
where
and I'm
you're
right.
coming from, but I don't. I
You're
mean,
wrong, I'm right. I got it. So, so Lutheran was incredible. I also loved the fight between him and his cohort.
yep, that
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 was
whole
incredible,
situation was really.
and also so well done.
No, I honestly during that scene I actually had my heart pounding because
Well,
I'm
because
sitting
I'm
there
like,
going like, are they actually going to fail? Like,
my whole thing was this: 'cause this whole season is going to be like this. I'm like, most of these people are not in the movie; they're all dead.
oh yeah,
Like
I'm like, is this where they screw it
there's
up?
two people. There's two people that I've seen so far that are in the movie. Oh no, sorry, three. And I'm like, well, because he came in season 2.
Yeah,
But I'm like, that's it. Oh no, 4. Cause what's his name? Guerrera.
right. Yeah.
I
Oh,
forget
that
what.
was also insane.
All right, we're gonna talk about him in a minute, but let's talk about the scene with them trying to get the device out before they went over to it, and while the Empire is there, like a head-ranking officer, and they're doing it so nonchalantly.
Yep. I thought that they were going to
Fail.
get caught because of the fact that when she was twisting so tightly that she started bleeding, and I thought that was going to give it away.
That's exactly what I thought too, and I was like, something's gonna happen, and they're gonna know something, and I'm like, oh god, oh god, oh god. And then I love when they walk out together as if nothing's happened and be like,
Yeah, and then just celebrating,
yeah,
like,
they're like,
okay.
she's like, oh, I guess it went better than you thought. And he goes, yeah, but we could have killed him. We should have killed him. And it's just like, of course. I also love Mon Martha versus
Krennic. Yeah,
yes,
that battle. I wouldn't. You can't call it battle of wits, but like
oh,
you
it's a
know,
battle of definitely of rhetoric for sure.
yeah.
That's really what it was, and it was incredible. And that, like, you can't, like, as awful as it sounds. I know obviously it's scripted, but you can't even like script that in the way of like that would happen anyway. And so like it
Hmm.
was a natural distraction for them to be able to get the device out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Lutheran could not have planned that because he would have never in a million years would have planned them actually arguing in a public place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it worked out
absolutely.
perfectly.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I think in terms of like the Empire, as we saw in the Thrawn books, Krennic just isn't liked in general across the Empire because he's not an actual like head of anything. He's just he's just the one that happens to be in charge of the Death Star, so they give him power, but he doesn't actually have any real power.
he's one of those that doesn't really have a rank, like he's not like a, how do I want to phrase this? Like he doesn't have the high rank,
Mm,
but he is considered to be of high rank because of his job title.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I run the Death Star, and it ain't gonna blow up.
blew up
But
twice. um,
but no, it was incredible. So now we got to talk about Guerrera because that was incredible. Honestly,
yeah,
the first time we see him in the season so far, and it was perfection. We also find out why he's on a like on oxygen in the movie.
yeah, yep. So, like he's
He's just breathing in the
he's
blaster
just
fuel.
breathing all the fumes in because it makes him stronger.
Ah, it makes me feel alive. And I'm like, I can't make this up. This is hilarious, but like also fits. Like
It
as
makes sense for why he's just insane.
but I
Like,
think my favorite line in all seriousness is when he states, "You have to be crazy to do a rebellion."
yeah,
He goes, "So if anybody calls me crazy, I am."
hmm, yep.
And
He's not hiding from it.
no, I also love him sussing out the other guy. Granted, he wasn't sure still until after he shot him, and
Yeah,
then went through his
was
pockets.
was not sure. Like, hey, check him after I killed him. Okay.
Well, guess who was right after all? And he's like, now you're on my squad. And he's like, man, this isn't what it was agreed upon. He's like, I agree to whatever I agree to, and that's what I agreed. So you shall agree.
I I legitimately didn't expect him to shoot the uh the other guy. Um, I legitimately thought that the one that was teaching them how to use the bomb was actually going to get killed. So like
I mean, you're not.
they played those parts to perfection.
I mean, to be fair, I'm in the same boat as you.
Uh, they gave
However,
it was such a great swerve. Like as soon as he just dropped down, I was like, oh, jeez.
well, you know what's funny? As soon as I saw who he shot, and I went, it's because he asked for the specific location.
I 100%. As soon as he insisted, I was
No,
like,
it wasn't even.
he's a trick.
It wasn't even that. So for me, although it was weird, and I will admit to that, like he did that, and I had some suspicions for a second,
Yeah.
but it wasn't until I saw which one he shot.
No, sorry. Like as soon as when he was pressuring him, I was like, okay, it makes sense. But as soon as he
Well, because it
dropped
made because
down, I
he
was like,
explained it.
now it's fully.
Because he explained it well enough in my mind, where it's like, no, that makes sense. He wants to make sure because the other guy Guerrero brought it up, not him.
Hmm.
Originally, he's like, well, what's your problem? He's like, there's too many variables. He goes,
Yeah.
I'd rather have less variables. So in my mind, it's like it was a natural conversation. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
But then he shot him, and I was like, okay. So the next year, I don't know what we're gonna be seeing.
No, that's for sure. It's
Oh no,
definitely
we forgot one thing. We did forget to talk about one thing. Lutheran had um, Mon Mothma's cousin and her girlfriend go back to
run the
the
mission.
planet where Cassian said there was no point in doing a rebellion to do a rebellion.
Hmm.
and her girlfriend died.
Yep.
Um,
Because they broke the one rule: no guns.
no blasters.
Uh,
So
yeah, and then she just like completely like ragged on him after, and not even
I
in the way like you like you would expect, but just like w- you want to be in a rebellion and you can't even handle the loss of death. Like,
because I think the point she was making, and it was a twofer. It was a twofer in
I
one.
mean, it's 100% like,
It was the fact of like she's crying because it was a very passionate love interest for her, but the idea was she was not as emotional as he was, and her
mhm,
point she's making is if you can't deal with the loss of somebody you don't even know, you shouldn't even be part of this at all. And
yep,
she kind of knew he was kind of useless to begin with, in the sense, which I got to give her credit on in that sense. I also love her taking charge, being like, "This is what we're doing," and he would keep undermining her or try to, and she's like, "Honestly, I don't think you should be here."
yeah, uh huh,
And then he was the reason why the other one gets killed,
and then
because the plan would have worked, which is even sadder.
oh yeah, it was going off without a hitch until I mean, the other guy showed up. I mean, if
But if he
he
didn't have
should
a
have,
blaster, it
yeah,
would have still
it
caused a
wouldn't have.
problem, but it wouldn't have caused as big of a problem.
Yep, it wouldn't have been as big of an issue. Absolutely. Um,
But yeah, no, that was incredible. I loved how she dealt with it and how she dealt with him
mhm,
after.
yeah,
Um,
I loved the whole like going off of yours with like if you can't handle this, then you shouldn't even be here. But then at the same time, being like she was a million times a better soldier than you could ever dream of because because you're pathetic. Like,
oh no, no,
just
she definitely
oh,
no, she definitely gave it to him for sure. I'm not questioning that whatsoever. And I do have a feeling that part of it, I would say most of it, was because of emotions at that point.
mhm.
Because I don't think she would have gone as hard. I'll say it that way.
No,
Um,
absolutely. I mean, she just lost her lover, so I mean,
Um, we also know why they haven't spoken in a while too, because she had
yeah,
an accident, which we still never quite found out exactly what, but it was enough to know
yeah,
that she got hurt.
yep. It took
Um,
her out for a little bit.
correct. And then she was
Um,
back in the game later.
I want to ask you what your thoughts were. What were your thoughts on them doing the first recast in Star Wars?
So I understood why they had to.
Mm.
He's getting too old.
No, yeah, 100%.
I my realistically my biggest issue was the hairstyle they chose, because it was so different than how we've seen him ever.
Yeah, this one was a little bit more wild, whereas
Well, it
his
was
is
more like
normally
longer hair, where it was kind of like.
it was like puffy, whereas normally he has it more like slicked and in
Yeah, but
control.
I felt like he had hair like on his back of his neck, which is like he
I mean, I'd call it because it was puffy. If he had neatened it, I feel like you wouldn't have even noticed.
no, because we've seen the back of his head so many times that it's like he's got hair like me, in the sense of like you and I, like meaning like that length is what I'm saying. And this time
Okay.
it was longer. It was as long as Martha's husband's hair.
It wasn't that long.
Look it up again. I swear to you. Look at that scene and you see the back of his head. In the front, it looks like ours, but he almost looks like he has a mullet.
Um,
Um, so overall, I didn't have a problem with it, in the sense of like it made sense to why that needed to be done. My issue was the hairstyle that they chose. Honestly, that was it.
I I mean, I'll be honest. I think it looks pretty similar. Like it's a little bit more. It is a little bit longer, but I don't think it's as long as you're making it out to be. And it's definitely not as long as her husband's. Her husband's hair is long. Um, you are confused.
Okay, that's weird.
What happened?
No, I'm looking.
I just looked up Bail Organa, and it showed both images next to each other of him, the old actor, and now the new one. Um,
Oh, you're right. Why did I feel like it was longer?
yeah, definitely not the husband's hair. That's for sure.
Oh, you know who I was thinking of for a minute? Was the other guy she talked to. There was
Oh,
another guy she talked to. It wasn't obviously now I know it wasn't Organa, but I mean that's the hairstyle I was thinking of. Um,
I don't remember who
because I
else she
think there
talked
was
to.
because there was another. I thought there was another guy from that planet that she talked to.
There might have been. At this
But my
point, I
point I'm
don't
making is so
remember.
that guy's hairstyle was closer to her husband's hairstyle than Organa's, like the one with the
Are you mixing it up with the daughter, her daughter's husband getting married?
no.
You know, okay. I don't remember who else she talked to at this point. I
No, no, no. So while they're walking into the Senate and everything else, she talked to I remember she talked to a few people. I know there was somebody towards the end of episode 3 that she talked to, and I at first thought it was Organa, um, but it wasn't. It was somebody else. But anyway, it's not that. It's I'll have to look it up again.
not the end of the world.
No, no, it's not the end of the world. But they that particular person looked like he had her husband's hairstyle,
Mm. Okay.
which was the image that kept in my head first for whatever reason. I don't know why. 'Cause as soon as I looked it up, I went, "Oh, never mind, I'm fine."
That's okay.
No, so I said so realistically, regardless, I didn't have a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, the
I
animation.
just thought that was interesting that they pulled the trigger. I don't have an issue with it because he does look like Baral Organa. Like he does look like
I think the idea was he's older, and this is supposed to
yeah.
be a younger one, and I get it.
I mean,
Younger
yes,
years. Well, you know what I mean.
but no, the only reason I was like I'm interested in that decision is because they just had him only a year or two ago in Obi-Wan. So that's why I was a little caught off guard by it. But in actuality, like it's a natural progression of things. Actors get older. It's time for you to give.
And it's technically a yeah. It's one of those things where it's just weird and like I get it. It's
It is one of those things where it's yes, he's supposed to be younger because this is around the time that he would have been in the age when he was in Obi Wan.
yes.
So like it's fine. Like I said, he does look similar. It opens up the possibility of finally being able to cast other characters because I know that they hold off recasting Luke Skywalker because fans have been begging for that because we want more Luke stories between Episode 6 and Episode 7 or
And
8.
and to be fair, I mean they do have a casting in mind
They have a couple. They've had a couple.
because
Uh,
Sebastian Saul is like the number one that I keep hearing about.
yeah, he's one of them. The one who played him in The Mandalorian season 2, people loved him. Uh,
But it wasn't his voice. It was weird because it's like it was him, but also not him.
yeah, they like did this weird like face CGI combination thing with Mark Hamill and him.
I know, but that's what I mean. So it's like it's one of those things where it was him, but also not him.
Yeah.
But body wise, he did a good job. Yes.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, overall, I'm very yeah. I wasn't worried. I'll say this: it didn't bother me at all. I just went, oh, they
Hmm.
recast it.
I had been seeing spoilers about that. Like that was the only thing that I saw spoilers on, and I was like, the entire time I was waiting for it, I was like, was I lied to by the internet? No way. And then
No,
it happened at the very end. I was like, oh, okay.
no, absolutely. It's just one of those things where it's just yeah. Um, sorry. Um, something popped up on my phone. So, no, overall, I mean, this was great. Very much enjoyed it. I cannot wait for year 4, um, and see what happens next. So let's move on to the Thunderbolts. So I was wrong at where the name comes from. I was very wrong.
Yeah, no, they are the new Avengers. That's what the asterisk stands for.
No, I meant where the name Thunderbolts came from, you jerk. I'm not talking about their
Oh,
name.
I actually legitimately completely misheard what you said. It's
Remember, I
like,
said it was just something he decided to name them,
yeah,
and it was not. It
yep.
was accidentally them saying it because of her soccer team, and I was
They
like,
mentioned the
"That's
soccer team, and
that's
then
fucking
he
funny."
just stuck with it. He's like, oh,
So
and
this,
the trailer made it seem like they were all against it, and they all seemed to really enjoy it, actually,
yes, yes,
except for Elena.
she was the only one that didn't like it. Although he wasn't a fan at the very beginning of the name
Yeah, he
because
was
he
just
was
like,
like,
wait,
"Well,
what?
that team never won," and then somebody took a number two on the field.
And then after that, it was just like, nope, I love it.
This was an incredible movie.
Dude, I like.
This was this was not so. I knew like I was correct at what was going to happen, but I'm honest with you when I say I it was done so far beyond what I could have even imagined.
No, this movie,
You
I
got to set
walked in.
yourself up. You got to get it, maneuver yourself, get yourself ready for this.
No,
This is
the blanket fell
no, no,
down,
no. This is
and
such an incredible story, Mike. You need to be prepared. I get it.
I mean, it was. I
No,
was.
it
I
was
mean, you have to
absolutely
like.
no, no. I can't even argue with you. I can't even like pretend to argue. It was so well done. Every
And
part of
yes,
it
you are Bob.
in every way. Am I
just,
not wrong?
I'm watching this movie, and like halfway through it, I was like, Scott is actually Bob. He's like sitting here, like, hey guys, what's up? And then just getting bullied by everybody for
And
no reason.
himself, and himself.
I'm just like, I'm like, oh my god.
And you know,
It, like I said, until he became Sentry and Void, I was like, wait a minute, that little.
and honestly, even when he became Sentry and Void, I hate saying it, like minus the Sentry part. But even when I was like Void and everything else, I was like, I'm still Bob. I'm still Bob. This sucks. I'm Bob. Also, the Void was incredible.
Oh my god,
They
no,
did
they,
such a great job with the CGI of him, making him like creepy, but also
yeah,
like, oh,
dude, when the I in shock, my jaw dropped because when the little girl got
so
voided,
ready? When I tell
gasp.
you no, the audience, right? We go, oh yeah, and then oh, it was everyone was like
Dude,
everyone just went, oh my
yeah.
god, and it was just because out of all the things, I wasn't prepared for that.
Usually Marvel doesn't do anything with kids. So the
They
fact that they
did.
went with that, oh my god, I like oh
Also, killing Taskmaster in the first 10 minutes.
I
It
so
made
I'll be on
sense. It made sense.
it made sense. I kind of had that spoiled before the movie even came out.
Oh, that sucks.
So it one I had mentioned to you about how they had done the casting for Doomsday and they didn't do Taskmaster.
No, correct, but that
But
by
then
itself.
before the movie came out, they were like, did they really kill off a major member before in the first 10 minutes of the movie? I was like, okay, it's clearly Taskmaster, and
No, no,
it
that.
happened.
So here's the thing. That's fair, but to be fair, when they do the casting chairs, just because their name's on it doesn't actually mean they're in it.
Yeah,
And the fact that her name wasn't on it didn't necessarily mean she could not have not been in it.
no, you
It's
are
just
correct.
more the fact of like I get your point. Like it did kind of because I went, wow, they did kill her.
Hmm.
I was not prepared for that, but I think part of the reason was Taskmaster was the least liked.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of their way of trying to maybe down the road do a better Taskmaster, similar
Which they
to
could.
the Mandarin.
No, no, which they very well
So
could because it's a mantle.
yeah,
It's a mantle, so that's fine. I'm less worried about that piece, but I was a little shocked for a
yeah,
minute. And then Bob being Bob.
yeah.
Also learning the backstory of Walker too, of how he
Oh,
lost his wife and kid. Granted, not they're not dead, but they just
yeah,
left him.
they yeah.
And I was like, wow. And then Alana going, oh, like after he said it, she's like, hmm. Also, oh my gosh, just V. No, Val. Sorry, she goes by Val. Um, Val was incredible through the entire movie. I just like how she's like
Yeah.
she worked the crowd. She did everything she needed to do. She got everyone to like dismiss everything, and then she's like, "I need everything gone. Like, see all
Mm.
this stuff? This needs to be gone by tomorrow." Um,
I actually like they did the actress did such a great job of playing how cool and collected she can be, because
and then
it's
the
like
one
even
time,
in the big stress moments she could still like take a second to be surprised and then quickly recover.
well, what about when they started shooting Bob, and
Yeah.
she takes the guy out in 2 seconds,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, I forget that she's a skilled, like, actual like fighter, and
Hmm.
I'm like, oh wow, she took him out in a second, and she's like, ceasefire, ceasefire, and that was incredible. I also loved her being the mother of Sentry for a little bit too.
For like 2 seconds.
Well, no, it was longer than that. It was longer than that. But
Yeah.
oh, that scene was incredible too, where she's just with them all, and she's like, "What are you gonna do to me? Oh, I guess I'm not alone."
I wasn't expecting to see like a tragic backstory with her. I her watching her father get murdered, didn't expect that. So that was
But I
pretty.
also love too how she was like, "I'm gonna leave right now," because in her mind she realized I have to do things a little bit different.
Mhm.
Um, Also, this makes the most sense of why they were able to face Sentry, and maybe like the stereotypical Avengers could not,
Yeah.
because of what
The
they've
way
done.
the way that they defeated Void, actually did
Well,
work very well.
but also because they like think of anybody else dealing with their demons.
Mhm.
Like these guys were the only ones that could deal with their demons.
Yeah.
Because they're, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying the others couldn't. I'm saying it would be less likely that like these guys could just defeat their demons because they've dealt with their demons constantly.
I mean, that wasn't really I wouldn't that wasn't really kind of the point of that movie. It was more
No, no,
of
no.
like getting.
I meant when they went into the. I'm talking about them navigating the void. They had to deal with their own demons
Yeah.
to then find him and then work together to try to save Bob from Bob.
Bob.
Um,
um
which oh my god, it was so incredible. It was just so good. And
Dude, I'm gonna be
and then
like,
can
I'm
we
gonna
just
be.
talk about the new Avengers announcement though? When they
That
all
was
come
so
out to
funny.
go capture her, 'cause she's like, "Oh guys, hold on, give me 1 minute, give me one
Yeah.
minute," and you know she planned that from the get go.
Well,
And then they all come,
obviously.
and then they all come. Well, maybe not from the get go, but from the moment she saw them, she was like, "Oh, you guys see me? Oh no, you gotta capture me! Like, give me 1 minute." And then she pops up. She goes, "Everyone, I want you to meet the new Avengers." And I'm just like, "Wow, I got
I
to do
love that.
so
Then
much for
and
them."
then Elena just walks up to her and is like, "We own you now."
And she's like,
Just complete roles reverse, because if they ever say one word, she is in jail.
But yeah, no, incredible. Also, can we talk about the first after mid credit scene? The mid credit scene first. This was
Yep.
by far the greatest of all scenes. Because do
The
you
second one is just too much in my head that I don't remember what the first one was. I remember laughing, but
Mike Wheaties? We
oh
finally get
right,
Wheaties.
that's yes,
I just like how
yeah.
he first off he looks like he lost weight. That's first, right?
Uh
He shaved his face so he just has the mustache. He's like, hey, maybe you should get some Wheaties.
huh.
And he puts it in there. It's like, have some Wheaties. And she just walks away and puts it away and goes,
Puts it down.
I'm on the box.
Yeah.
I'm on the box.
That
Um,
was
Also,
the movie theater laughed with that one for me.
and then we get all of like the magazines of like people talking about these new
Yep.
Avengers awfully, like very poorly. And then we get to
Well, it was a mix of things.
no, it was well, it was kind of like questioning, okay, what are they gonna do?
Mostly negative, but some willing to hear them out.
I feel like the ones that weren't negative were questioning. I'll say it that way. Like meaning like
Yeah.
what are they gonna be doing? How can
Hmm.
these guys be the new Avengers? Blah blah blah, right? And then we go, what was it, 14 months later?
Yes. Yeah, it was 14.
And we see them all together, and then we see Red Guardian in his new outfit for the
Zzz.
Avengers with a Z, because apparently it's trademarked, which is even funnier. And apparently Bucky talked to Sam and did not think it was a good idea of them joining forces together.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny to me because they would be a good team to work with, in my opinion. But anyway,
Well, it's one of those things where it is because he's going with Steve Rogers of not being controlled by the government.
but that's the other thing too, where I think he doesn't realize that they're not controlled by the government as much as he thinks they are.
Yeah.
But I
I
get your
mean,
point. I get your
yeah.
point. Absolutely. I also
I'm curious who Sam Wilson's team is now at this point.
well, that's the other thing too, where we now know that there's two Avengers groups,
Yep.
potentially three actually,
Technically, yep.
because it's the
Because
Young
of the next
Avengers.
post, because of that, the rest of the post credit scene.
Well, no, I
Oh
mean
wait, no, you're talking about the Young
I'm
Avengers.
talking about Young Avengers. That's its own separate entity.
Hmm.
Also, I don't know if you know this, that the credits actually ruined what the after credit scene was gonna give away.
You know what? Actually, that didn't click in my head because I saw that and I was like, oh, so they
I
put
thought
that in.
I was like, wow, they put the trailers in as part of that. That's weird. And then that happened. I went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's what threw me off for a second. So anyway, it was hilarious. So we're all so first off, I see this movie by myself, but the entire movie theater is full, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Doom, it's Doom, it's Doom, it's Doom," and then I hear the
The
music.
four.
I no, no, I hear the music because the music
Oh.
comes, I think, slightly before the turn, like very,
Mm.
and I went, "It's the Fantastic Four." Then we see the logo, and everyone goes, "Ah!" And
Yeah.
then, but no, it was incredible.
I
Um,
thought I thought it was a Doom ship too, and then until the
because it's
four
a
showed up.
multiversal ship.
Yeah, multiversal entity.
Yeah. So yeah, so we now I mean, we know that they meet up with we're assuming them first. We don't know
Yep.
for sure, but that's the assumption. So very curious on that. But
But
love seeing them. Also like that we don't see Valentina in the after credit scene either, which is
yeah,
interesting.
I
Um
mean, it's obviously going to be one of those things where she doesn't have as much power anymore. She's
no,
just
no,
kind of
she's the
be like a
figurehead.
puppet.
She's the
Yeah.
figurehead. Also love that Bob's there. Bob, I love to see you standing there doing nothing. He's like, well, I like
Yeah.
how
Just I'm sorry.
I like how we could ride. Yes, imagine Red Guardian riding Sentry. Very strong. And I'm like, and then I think one of them does say, I don't think that sounds as good as you think it does.
Yeah, yeah. But this movie was, I was correct with it being mainly on Yelena's, like,
No,
more
correct,
focused on her.
correct.
You were correct with Red Guardian being like a voice of reason and a little bit of a father figure, which like
Was also
that
right.
whole,
Yeah,
yep,
very
that
good.
whole thing was awesome. Um, I
But I
really
was
wasn't
also right.
expecting this
I was
movie.
also right how they were going to take out Sentry as well.
Yep,
So
you they play with his emotions.
but not anywhere close to what I was expecting though. I
No,
will admit
definitely
that.
not. But this movie, dude, it just hit me so hard.
When I
I
kept seeing that this was like the best movies, like this was the best movie, best Marvel movie since Endgame. I was kind of like, there's no way. And then I
no,
watched it, and I was like, it is very much so.
no, absolutely no. This one was way up there. I think this actually might have been better than Deadpool and Wolverine, with how hard this hit.
Honestly, I have to agree with you because to Deadpool and Wolverine is the nostalgia piece, and not
Yeah,
that it wasn't a good movie, it was, but it was heavily focused on nostalgia.
yeah.
Where this was its own entity, and it was very much like
This was the first movie since Endgame that was good that wasn't nostalgia based.
agreed,
Because the
agreed.
two big movies that were the two big movies since Endgame that
No Way
were
Home.
was No Way Home and Deadpool,
Yep.
and they were both nostalgia movies.
No, this was definitely the movie to be like, and not that Marvel's gone anywhere, but like this is the one where they're back to the Avengers formula. Um,
I mean, this is also the first movie that they've really organized their stuff, because everything
yes.
else, I think I talked to you about this
No,
during
you're right.
the gaming one, is that they've been going through issues because of COVID, the writer strikes, the artists
They've had a
going
lot of
through
issues,
there,
exactly. But I also
and
think too
this.
that then there was also the idea of Kang, no Kang, like that was another
Hmm.
factor too. Like that wasn't COVID related, but it was in the realm of it all. And
Yeah,
it's like so all that combined where they had to kind of vamp kind of their stuff. Because we did talk about too how I and we agree on the fact of like the Doom announcement of who was playing Doom was heavily influenced by Kang being kicked out. Because I
yep,
don't think that I think Robert Downey Jr. was probably going to be their thought on him doing it to begin with anyway.
yeah,
However, I think it was meant to be a secret until they had to get people excited about Doomsday.
yeah. Get people talking about it.
And to be fair,
I
this
also think
movie got
it's,
me very excited though for Doomsday.
no, it really did. It really did.
This is the first.
Obviously,
This is the first movie where I go. I'm now super like I was excited for Doomsday. Doomsday. This was the first movie at the end where I go, I'm ready for Doomsday now.
And this is the first one where we've had a hint of another movie for in a long time
This was the first
because
one where it was blatantly showing the build up of another project.
yeah, it's been a while since they've done that, and
There's been hints, but nothing definite beforehand. Very vague and irritating in that sense.
mhm.
But yeah, no, I have to say like this was oh, this was good. This was such a
Yeah,
good
but no, this movie hit at my strings just because like
movie. It
all that emotional depression stuff just hit way too close to home for me, and like
it was
it
so
was
good.
so good,
It was so good.
and
It was
all of the characters dealing with their own kind of depression that they had to try to work through, and just being able to and the like just the situation of how Bob was able to beat Void, and it was to not let his anger overcome him because
yeah.
that will just sink him deeper into depression. He had to reach
So
out to people and
I'm
have
not gonna lie
help.
to you. When he first punched Void in the face, I went, "Oh, we're gonna have him beat Void. That's interesting." And then I realized because I'm like that never like you have to overcome it, like because I'm thinking comic wise, so I'm like, this is an interesting take. And then I see him getting corrupted, and I went, "Oh, no, we're gonna still be doing this. Okay, here we go."
Yes.
But it took a second because I was like, because I didn't know where they were gonna go. To be fair,
Yeah. No,
um,
I agree with you because it was like, oh, he's just gonna knock him down, and he overcame him, and then
but also
it didn't.
I loved when he fought as Sentry, and that was very Superman like,
Hmm.
and I got to give him credit.
I have to say that was the one iffy thing about the movie is that when they did fight Sentry, that CGI was not that great during that, but otherwise in every other part of the movie,
But it was so
fantastic.
short, I didn't care. Like
That's
that.
that. Yeah, like it was a very quick thing, but otherwise, like
But
no,
The CGI for Ghost was incredible.
it was no, it was.
I was very impressed. Um, Loved everything about it. I also loved the taco. The taco was incredible.
Yeah, turn
Um,
my shield into a taco.
and then kept it as a taco. Granted, he couldn't change it, but it was just funny.
Yeah.
Um, no, it was incredible. Loved every second of it. There was realistically, I think, if anything, I kind of agree with you. The fight scene with Sentry was the weakest part,
Yeah.
but it was
Otherwise, and in the movie actually flowed really well. Like
no,
there
it did
was,
so well. Like
I
it didn't feel rushed. It felt perfect.
yeah,
It did everything I was expecting it to do in the sense of like I was worried like, oh, was this not all going to fit together? And it did perfectly.
no,
Like
yeah,
her immediately going into the void was not what I was expecting, but made sense because it was going to do one of two things for her. She was either going to protect, she was either going to get Bob out of there, like get find Bob and deal with it, or she was going to die, and she was okay with either.
yeah,
And I hate saying it that way, but like legitimately based on her character, she was okay with it.
yeah.
But man, the people sinking into the void still freaked me out, even though I saw it in the trailer.
Oh, absolutely. You know that. Oh my god! As soon as that started, I like chills because it.
Oh, the little girl was the most for me, but like all of them were like, ooh.
No, and it was one of those things where because it started off with the little girl, it got you riding the high the entire time because it was just
I was
like
like,
I can't believe they did that, and then it
oh
just continued.
yeah, because in my mind I was like, I'm surprised they're showing people getting sucked into the void in the trailer, just because I'm like, that's kind of a big thing.
Hmm.
But now I know, like, no, they started
No,
off with a bang.
that wasn't even a big thing. Like,
No, I'm like, oh no, that wasn't even a big point. No, it was the little girl that got me.
no, that
Oh,
just you hear you hear the theater go, oh my god.
it was incredible, and
Oh
I had a great audience, thank God. Um, but oh, it was great. It was so good, so
no,
good.
great movie. I highly recommend people watch this
Oh
movie.
no, this one is it was I was concerned because of the amount of trailers we got.
Hmm.
I was concerned because of how hyped it was. Um, and I'm pleasantly surprised it went well beyond what I was expecting. But also, like even with that, it was actually worth the hype.
Yeah, and still like even with
Even with all
the
those
type of
trailers, I
movie.
still didn't know what was happening. Like I didn't
Oh yeah.
legitimately know.
No, but even with the type of movie that it was, the story it was trying to tell about overcoming your depression, it still fit in with the humor in good spots. It wasn't any. There was no forced humor.
No,
It
no,
it
but
flowed.
I love Val's turn from Sentry being like, he's like, why would a god listen to you? And she's like, all right, well, we're just flaunting that word around, and I
Yeah.
think we're gonna be. And then he knocks her down, and she's like, well, this isn't going as planned, and she still wasn't fully afraid yet,
Yeah.
which is what scared me more than anything else because
No,
she
that's what I
was.
meant. Like she kept her cool the entire time.
And then he gets knocked out, and she's like, oh, thank goodness. Like, you know what? I think you're doing great things here at this company.
The Her assistant, that's the woman who was playing the main character in the new Scream movies, correct?
I have to look
Not
her up. I don't think so.
yeah,
No, not obviously not Jenna Ortega. Obviously, the other one.
but she looks like her. It's just um
What was it? Scream. Well,
Scream
5 or 6. It doesn't matter.
five, 6 or 7.
I'll
I,
give me a minute.
but yeah, no.
You keep talking for a minute. I'm gonna look this up.
I
In fact,
I
actually, it would be easier if I do the Thunderbolts.
that too. But so Bucky Barnes was still in the Senate, so he didn't leave the Senate. Um,
No, which was funny because they made it seem like he was, and he's
yeah,
not.
that conversation of like, oh, you only made it.
She's not in Scream.
Oh, she's not. Oh, okay. She looks like the actress.
She looks. She looked familiar to me, and I could not for the life of me know where I saw her from. And based on her movies that she's in,
You
I
wouldn't
I wouldn't
you
know
wouldn't
her at all.
recognize anyways.
I wouldn't know her what she's from. But Lewis Pullman, who plays um, Sentry, has been in so many things lately that I didn't even register it's the same guy because he's got a wide range.
Oh, really?
He was in Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. He was in Salem's Lot. He was in The Strangers, Pray at Night. I think it was the sequel. He's been in a bunch of things that I've seen, and obviously had to have seen him in, but he was a no name then, in my opinion, and I didn't know who what he was.
Interesting.
Um,
It's so he was supposed to be he originally Sentry was going to be Glenn
I
from The
know,
Walking Dead.
and I
So
think I honestly I think granted I know that the part of the reason was he backed out,
mm,
but I think this was a better choice in my opinion.
I think
Just
I think this actor did a good job with it. So I'm not upset about it.
because I don't know, he gives me like teenage vibes still, like young adult, and so like dealing with depression like fit way too perfect for him. Um, in my opinion.
The one that we got, or are
No,
you
the one that
talking?
we got. No, the one
Oh,
we got. No, no,
okay.
I'm talking about the one we got. Sorry. Um, also love the chicken. The chicken on meth
Oh
was
yeah.
incredible. Incredible, because it was something where it was like, well, on it, because he mentioned it briefly at one point, very rare, like very like nonchalant one off, and then we see the chicken. He's like, and then we have Red Guardian be like, I swear to God,
If you hit me
you
with the
hit me
sign
one more
again.
time with the sign. He's like, man, I'm on meth. I'm sorry.
He's
And
like,
he
I'm
hits me.
sorry.
He hits me again with the sign. Oh,
I lost it at that one. That was so funny.
but I also love how they're like, this is the nicest room you've been in. Let's go to your other rooms. And I
Mm.
just was like, wow, we're getting really deep into this. And then we get to see the void first be used ever. And I'm like, ooh, interesting. And I'm wondering though, what happened to the void, to those people who went to the first void?
I'm wondering if it's one of those things because they were lost for so long that they are dead. Um, because I
Oh,
mean,
because the other thing too is the assumption would be he didn't let them out. Because in this one, he kind of did. He did, right? Wasn't the assumption he let them out?
I mean, I would go along the
What?
lines if he didn't let them out, but they got out
Oh, all
because
right. Hear me out. Hear me out on this. This is where I'm coming from on this. Because he stopped Void, he then was in control of the Void, and he made it go away subconsciously. I don't think he could do it on his
well, in
own.
the post credit scene, they made a point to say that he couldn't control it because he couldn't be Sentry. Because then, if he was
No, no,
Sentry,
no. I
then
understand
the
that, but I
Void.
think in that one moment, because he defeated the Void, at that moment in time, he then could dissipate it. I don't think he could do it on command. I think he did it subconsciously.
I think
Because
it's one of
realistically,
the
it's the same person. I know this is weird to
yeah.
say because
I
it's
think
the
it's
same
one of
person.
those things where because you're saying that they're letting him out, I think it was just because he was defeated that he couldn't control them anymore and
That's fair.
have
You know what?
so
That's fair. You know what?
like
That is fair.
very same thing but slightly different
Either
way
way,
in
we agree
approaching
that
it.
the first couple of people in the void, when we saw it in the void, they're dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's I think it's one of
We're
those
agreed.
things. Yeah, I think they are dead because it's one of those
No,
things
I
where
agree.
I think they're still in the real world, but like their body disintegrated from lack of like sustenance. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Okay.
I
No,
mean,
no,
it's
no, no. I
kind
get
of
it. No, no. I'm not disagreeing. Here's the thing. I'm not arguing with you whatsoever. I'm stating that that's not a weird. Like that's not. Even though I'm not trying to sound condescending, it's not a weird take because it isn't.
yeah.
Um,
It's just like
it's also not
you're
far fetched either. Like it's like
yeah
when
you're
you
so consumed by depression that you can't function that you die from
I think it left it ambiguous for a reason.
yeah.
And I'm okay with not knowing. I'll say it that
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
But I loved what they did with the void in the general. I love that it's a labyrinth of
Yeah.
sadness.
Bad
Um,
memories,
mhm. I
bad
also, but I
experiences.
also love the void, meaning the
Mm.
person.
Yep.
That was so incredible because it was just him CGI'd black.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was honestly his eyes creeped me out the most.
hmm when I the when he was punching when Bob was punching the void and you just see the slight smile, so you just see his
Oh
eyes
no,
and then
uh huh.
the white teeth. I was like, that's nightmare fuel.
And it proved to me the moment he got punched, I was like, he does not care.
Nope.
Because and it was just perfect. It was just well done. It was great. I'll say
No.
it that way.
It was a
Um,
great movie. Great message overall
oh, definitely.
about a very serious topic in today's world.
But also
So,
too, like putting it in a superhero terms too,
yeah.
because I mean, the assistant said it best, where she's like these powers on anybody would be terrifying, but somebody who's unstable is even more terrifying.
Yeah.
And he is unstable, and again, he kind of admits it.
He says it full out
Like
multiple times in the
he's
movie.
not a good guy. And again, not that he's a bad guy, but I mean like he's not like what you would consider a good guy because he tried to
And
be
it
though. Because I
yeah,
think
and
the whole
it's one
point
of
of this was every character tried to. Granted, Bucky was the only one who's technically overcome his issue. The
mm,
difference here was he was overcoming the fact of his story was different than everyone else's because he was overcoming the fact of he can't deal with the bureaucracy and reading packets,
mm,
and wanted to be hands on,
yeah.
which is
Um
so Bucky.
but I I loved the character of Bob in general with his
Oh, it
backstory.
was so
Just like
good.
he was not a bad guy, like you said, but his life experiences got him in a shortcoming.
Yeah, because
Like,
even with all that stuff, he wasn't a bad guy until the Void took over, and
yeah,
like it was his darkness. So it's like he himself is not the bad guy,
yeah,
which is true about Sentry as well. Sentry himself is not the bad guy. However, his Void is, and it's just interesting to see. So I'm very curious to see his role in Doomsday,
yeah.
because there's no way he's not going to be Sentry.
Oh yeah, no, he's gonna have to definitely
I don't
become.
think he's going to be dressed up like he did in the movie here, for sure.
Mm.
He might wear the S though. I will say that just because it's Sentry. But I don't think he's definitely not going to be golden hair, blonde. I also love that interaction too. Why are you blonde haired? And they're like, "Oh, you guys don't like it." It's like, and then I love Val being like, "You don't listen to those losers, okay? Blonde went really well with your demographics."
And I loved afterwards, and he's like talking about his blonde hair, and she's like, "Do you not like the blonde hair?" And he's like, "It's not about the blonde hair,"
She
and
goes on.
even
It's
though I
very
think it
much.
is.
I think it's very much about the blonde hair because you've mentioned it 8 times now. I think it's about the blonde hair. But I do like that they gave the comic book accurate costume for Sentry, even if it was meant to be. And granted, let's be fair, all of the like comic book accurate costumes, for the most part, like let me rephrase it this way: the origin costumes have been kind of a joke in
Mhm.
Marvel for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then they make their
As
a lot of decisions.
as time changes, they modernize it and make it less of a joke.
So, anything else you want to mention, or can we move on to my character spotlight? Because I think we
N-
covered everything. It
No,
was perfect. Obviously, it was a
again,
great movie. This
yeah,
right now is my favorite movie of 2025. But also, I
yeah.
think of this phase in general. but definitely of 2025. And I think depending on how Fantastic Four goes, this might be my favorite movie of the year.
Fantastic Four and Superman. Those are the next two big ones.
Yeah,
Um,
depending on how those two go is
yeah.
going to determine where. But this is definitely top level without a doubt for sure.
Now, as I do after every situation, rank it on a scale of 1 to 10.
I'm really hesitant of giving it this because I'm I so it's not a 10. I'll say that.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think I'll ever give a 10 to be honest with you.
No, you have to have a perfect, like a perfect
I
movie,
don't
and
even know if I would know what a 10 is.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
but
yeah,
I feel like this is I'm debating between going a 9 or a 9.5.
I'll tell
I
you right now. I'll tell you, I'm giving it a 9.5. And for me, the only reason it's not a 10 is because of the bad CGI and for the fight for
you
Sentry.
know what? I
That's
feel
literally the only reason.
I'm gonna go with a 9.5 as well because I'm less concerned about it now. Meaning, like, I was like, is a 9 too high? Like, because
No,
actually,
yeah,
that's what I was saying. I was like, is a 9.5 too high? Just because I don't know where a 10 is. I really don't.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think for me this would have been a 10 if it didn't if for just that little instance of a CGI blunder. But otherwise, like I was seated for the entire movie, and it drew me in, and as the movie progressed, like I wasn't sitting here saying like I can't wait for this to be over. It was just, it kept drawing me in.
I think for
And
me,
again, because it's so personally related to it, it's just like it was a perfect movie for
I
me.
think for me, it has to be Infinity War
Yeah. If
because
for
for it to be
Marvel,
for Marvel,
for
it's
Marvel, the standards of perfect movies
is Infinity
are
War or
Infinity War and
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Oh yes, okay, now
Those
you're
are the
talking.
two best Marvel movies, and this movie is
Also,
actually
two
up there.
very different movies, like two very different
Yeah,
like types of movies.
all three of these movies are. I will put this on the standard of like a top rated Marvel movie, and
Oh
like
yeah,
these three
100%.
movies are all different
No, no, no,
takes.
no. They are very different takes. But what I'm saying is, this was more closely. Hear me out. This was closer to Infinity War than Ragnarok was,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
Ragnarok was heavily focused on comedy,
Hmm.
where this
Yep.
one, although comedy did exist.
But it was the classic Marvel comedy where they just were throwing it in there because these are how these characters.
I hope I don't have poison ivy. Um,
Oh.
no, I'm looking down at Amici and I'm like, maybe. So I gotta be careful on that.
But as we know, like for like a lot of these characters in the Marvel universe, they're using comedy to cope with their situations.
No, absolutely, and I think that's the big thing too, where I agree with you. But no, I definitely have to agree. This is at the top level of Marvel movies for
Yeah.
sure. I am hesitant right now to rank it in the sense of the grand scheme of things, meaning like where it would rank in Marvel movies. I think I need more time. I think it
Hmm.
needs to come out on Disney Plus. Let me see it again in a different setting, and then go from there. But I think definitely it's still, because of what it is,
Hmm.
it's still gonna. I feel like it's still going to. Um, but I'm wondering when I know what's gonna happen, what's gonna be still sticking with me.
This is one of those movies like we can compare it to No Way Home, where No Way Home you need the experience in the theater to enjoy that movie
Yes.
it because you need the crowd reaction. They literally pause in situations because they want the crowd to cheer.
No, I agree. I
Whereas this, like you just said, where because of the type of movie it is good at any point. And
and I think it
and
is. I think it is. And I think I just want to I want to be proven that
oh yeah.
before I like state it for right now. But right now it's definitely top tier Marvel movie for sure.
Hmm.
It's going to be considered one of the best right now. For
Yeah.
sure. One of the best Marvel projects, which is so weird because of what characters they used.
Yeah, the most B-list heroes that they
See, these are these are these are
Li-
lower than.
listen. Red Guardian makes up for all of them being the only A+ hero we've ever got.
Winter.
Red Guardian is better than Winter Soldier. I'm gonna go out on that. No.
I will say that Red Guardian is definitely above the others, He is not above. He is not above Winter Soldier, but
No, I'm kidding with that. Obviously, no. I
no,
mean,
no. Red Guardian was just Red Guardian was all of them
I
were actually all of them were incredible.
I loved when Bucky first showed up, and I think we saw it in one of the trailers. But then Red Guardian it like starts fanboying over him, and just like the Winter Soldier. Oh boy,
I
like
heard tell of you, and he's like, what serum did you get? And he's like, I don't know, regular. I got the Hydra. He goes, ah, fancy. I got Soviet Union remake, but still good. Still does stay good.
yeah,
But he was everyone was so good. Like
yeah.
it irritated me how well everything was because it was just so well done. And put it this way, if you were to say to me that the Thunderbolts were going to be one of my favorite movies of all time, I would have said you're an idiot. But then again, very much so. Like this was Marvel's equivalent, in my opinion, to Suicide Squad, where a group of random mercenaries had to team up to take out a threat that's well above their punching range.
hmm Absolutely. No, it was worth the watch. It was worth the wait. It was worth all these trailers.
It's worth all of it. Honestly,
Um,
the trailers did not do the movie justice, and that's saying something. And the trailers weren't bad at all. It's just they did such a great job. I just love the fight between all four of them though in the beginning. That
yeah.
was great. The exploding
Um,
arrows gets me too. Just all of it. Just
I love the realization of them all realizing, wait, we're all here for each other,
it
but
wasn't. I
not.
don't. I don't think it was until literally Taskmaster gets killed when they all realize. Oh,
Yeah, I think Yelena started to realize it, but
but it was
Ghost,
solidified then.
yeah,
And then of course U.S. agent still didn't believe it right away.
yeah,
But I
it's
think he
like
did. I think he
he's
did. I think he just didn't want to admit it.
didn't want to accept it. He's like, I'm too special.
Um, I also love when they talk about his gun and how it's too long.
Yeah. And he's just like getting uncomfortable, like doesn't know what to say.
The two the amount of just hilariousness was great. Um, I also love them going up the back to back to
The-
back
yeah,
all together. That was incredible. Um, Everything was just so well done, and
no,
it fit. It like everything fit. We also learned about Ghost's powers, how she does have limits. She
hmm
can't just phase anywhere. She has to know where she's going to a certain degree.
and it only lasts a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, so let us move on to my character spotlight because I feel like we've touched enough about everything.
Yep, let me
So,
hear about Valentina.
ready? So the my character spotlight is. I keep hitting the right click instead of left click. So we know her as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. However, in the comics, she is Constantina Valentina Allegra de la Fontaine. Constantina Valentina Allegro de Fontaine. Agent 14, Countess, Madame Hydra, Val de Fontaine, and Citizen 5, or Citizen V. I don't know whether it's Citizen 5 or Citizen V.
I bet it's V, but it could go either way.
Well, because I don't know if it's meant to be Roman numeral.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm saying it could go either way. But
So I'm going to give the abridged version because her history is long and she was created in 1967 and has been a prominent figure in Marvel Comics, granted as different characters or different like personas throughout the years. So I don't know. Do you
interesting.
know? Do you know anything about Madame Hydra?
No.
Okay, well we'll talk about her in a minute. Um, so I'm gonna do the abridged version of her comic book history, and then I'll go in more detail about specific plot points.
Okay.
So the seductive and elegant woman known as Contesta, Contesta, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, is an efficient combatant who serves as a high-ranking agent of Shield. She has a complex relationship with the director of Shield, Nick Fury. Nick Fury Senior. I want to be very specific here,
Okay.
because remember she was created in 1967.
hmm
The one we know is actually Nick Fury Jr., which across the years has been marked by basically her being deceptive. Actually, both of them being deceptive towards each other. In fact, she fabricates an identity and has spent her entire life as a deeply undercover agent for a cryptic organization known as um, the Leviathan? Leviathan is how you pronounce it. Well, no, because I wanted to say Latveria, but that's not correct. That comes later. Recruited into S.H.I.E.L.D., she gained the respect of her peers due to her dedication and competence. She was instrumental in many operations related to the benefit of global peacemaking, such as securing the Infinity Formula for Fury, assisting in dismantling Delta, and reforming S.H.I.E.L.D. under Fury's vision, and ending Hydra Supreme Baron Strucker. Following Fury's apparent demise, Valentina stepped in as director of S.H.I.E.L.D. until he returned later on. After years of lies, Valentina's true allegiances emerged. To revive the Leviathan after decades of dormancy, she infiltrated the High Council of Hydra as Madam Hydra. Now, Madam Hydra is a high level ranking officer in Hydra who also was the leader of Latveria, which is where Doom's from.
Okay. Okay.
There was a point in time where Doom
Yeah.
either disappeared or wasn't in charge, blah blah. She actually was in charge of Latveria as Madam Hydra.
Interesting.
She was brought up. She resurrected the Latverian, the Leviathan's army, but Fury obviously sabotaged their chambers and stopped it from happening. Following its downfall and the decay of the only cause that she believed in, she realized it did not fulfill her inner wishes, and still being attached to Fury in a toxic relationship. And after being years under the radar, she formed OXE, an influential and secret organization of espionage. And after her apparent demise, she was replaced by a life model decoy by the Outer Circle and became involved with Bucky Barnes as part of the anti terrorist group of the Thunderbolts. However, the real Valentina, on the other hand, adopted the mantle of Citizen V or Citizen 5 to lead the original Thunderbolts under Doctor Doom's rule.
Oh, interesting.
So very quickly, I'm going to go over some specific talks here. So a lot of the back and forth is women were not treated with respect in Shield in the beginning, as we kind of see with Agent Carter and everything else. She's actually worked with Sharon Carter a lot because she was Agent. So Sharon Carter was Agent 13. She's Agent 14.
Oh, okay.
Um, and they created the what was the name of their group? The Fem Force. Fem Force. I wanted to make sure I said it correctly because I was like I wasn't 100% sure on it. But anyway, so she's actually she's done all that. She's actually hunted down the Punisher and taken him out.
Oh, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, she's much she's yeah. hmm Like I didn't know how to describe it other than yes. Um, Granted, she enlisted the help of Silver Sable and Domino to help out take Punisher, but yes. Um, she's also she also became demise created the identity of Madam Hydra to try to stop um, things from basically going crazy. Mostly due to the fact of she wanted to stop Norman Osborn, um, and so she did this elaborate ploy of being a villain for a while to build up the ranks to be able to stop him, which is very Shield of her. And she
Yeah.
also murdered Viper, which is a Hydra agent who you have not probably dealt with ever. Um, did you ever play Ultimate Alliance 2?
Yes.
Madam Hydra is the first mission.
I
She took
think
o-
I
she
remember.
took over Latveria while Doom was in prison in Odin. You know, remember the because in the first one he gets imprisoned by the gods, and then she takes over as um, the leader of Latveria. But anyway, the reason why I brought that up was just because she's been a part of mainstream media a lot more than I thought, but definitely technically not as Valentina. She was as Madam Hydra. She's been as Agent 13. She's been of many different names. Um, so one of the big things here I wanted to mention is, and this was the last big storyline she was a part of. So this is where Valentina became a member of a secretive council known as Janus, Janus. Do not ask me what it stands for, which positioned Osborn to gain secret control over the rebuilt Ravenclaw Institute. At some point, though, Valentina founded the espionage organization OXE. Also, do not ask me what it stands for, which counted um, with considerable influence. However, she apparently passed away in a Russian gulag. Following her demise, the cryptic organization known as the Outer Circle transferred her memories into a next generation life model decoy. In the android body, she became free operative once again, um, with an interesting arsenal at her disposal, and joined Bucky Barnes in forming a new team of Thunderbolts to eliminate evil masterminds, including the Red Skull. Eliminate it.
Hmm.
One of the
Not
acronyms.
capturing, eliminating,
Mhm. The Thun.
terminating.
Yep. The Thunderbolts caught the interest of Doctor Doom, who was involved in the assassination of Red Skull in Latveria. I just like how they eliminated Red Skull, and then they go, the Thunderbolts caught the interest of Doctor Doom, who was involved in the assassination of the Red Skull, so that he helped them.
Yep.
After rising to power as Sorcerer Supreme and the ruler of the world, Doom attempted to recruit Barnes into leading his secret police, but was rejected. Furious, Doctor Doom launched an attack against Bucky at Thunderbolts Mountain, severely destroyed the life model decoy of Valentina. Doom orchestrated the destruction of Bucky's hometown of Shelbyville to justify the need of an international anti terrorist task force. His own Thunderbolts, led by Citizen V, while hunting for Bucky, Citizen V revealed to be the original Valentina, an agent of Doom who sought revenge against the artificial absurdity taking her identity. And that, my friends, is the last known of Valentina.
I'm gonna be honest. That last part kind of got me going cross-eyed because it was just so many names, so many
Well, it was
things.
also it was also basically like they basically put what they thought was her consciousness in an android
It-
body, and then turns out she was alive the whole time.
yep.
So
And I'm like very, very dictator. Like, let me destroy your city to prove that you need me to protect you. Like,
no,
yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
One of the things is her abilities are she's an expert in hand-to-hand combat. She's an expert in. She's also a marksman with all kinds of firearms. She's an excellent leader and strategist on combat missions in the field, and she's brilliant as an espionage officer, which is not should not be shocking. I think they've
Nope.
done an excellent job in general. Now, her name is actually a joke, even in Marvel Comics. Her name actually can be is a stereotype of long names in royalty,
Okay, makes sense.
and
That's why it sounds so fancy.
also caused confusion in different depictions across the years. Because sometimes she's gone as Valentina Allegro de Fontaine, and she's also gone as Valentina de Allegro. That's it. So like, just so you know, like it's always been one of those things where her name has actually been a joke.
Mm.
Um, and at the time of Grizzly's interrogation, when she was a Shield deputy director, Valentina was Agent Security Level 9 and was granted clearance Level 10 in preparation of Secret War. So 10 is the highest level of clearance. She was a level 9.
Mm-hmm.
Just a fun fact for you. I just wanted to see if there was anything else. No, no. Shockingly enough, she's Italian. Shouldn't be a shock.
No, really.
No, no. Literally the least
Thought she
shocking
was
thing.
Mongolian,
Well, she could be. So anyway,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah, actually.
So like that's why I said it. It's like yes. So the power grid is
Should have
always
said Indian.
I would have agreed with. I mean, I would have said okay, you're right. But anyway, the power grid is always out of 7. So her intelligence is a 3 because it's learned intelligence. Her strength is a 2 because it's normal. Her speed is a 2 because it's normal. Her durability is a 2 because it's normal. Her energy projection is a 0. Oh, sorry, a 1 because it's none. It always throws me off because there's no zeros allowed.
Yeah, that's weird.
So like energy projection 1 is actually what we would consider a 0. However, her fighting skills is a 4 because her fighting skills, she's an experienced fighter and is skilled in many different types of firearm fighting and just hand-to-hand combat as well. And she's been around since 1967 and has not technically ever permanently gone away.
It's fair.
I want to look up one thing though. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Did you find it?
So Citizen V has been multiple characters.
Oh,
So
interesting.
she's one of the ones who have held the mantle. Interesting.
Hmm.
I I would not have guessed that. Okay, never mind. Because I was gonna see if her powers were any different, and they're not.
Oh, okay.
Because I was just curious. Because it looked like she had like a mech suit on, and it's although it is armor, it's not. It doesn't. She doesn't get any extra powers from it. The argument might be she's more durable in the armor, but
I was about
that
to say
might.
she might have be able to handle a little bit more.
But that would be the same thing as anybody's armor. Like it wouldn't
Yeah.
be you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that is Valentina. So I thought that was kind of cool to talk about her because we haven't, and I didn't realize she had a history in Marvel from the '60s and has never gone away.
Legacy characters. You love them.
Well, because I always knew Madam Hydra, and I never knew she was Madam Hydra.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I just thought that was yeah, that one threw me off. I think the most out of all of her personas, because I'm even just gonna click on it just to be safe, because I feel like oh okay, there have been multiple Madam Hydras, so it is a mantle, and
Okay.
that makes more sense. She's just one of the many who have taken the mantle of Madam Hydra. Okay, that's fine. You know what? I'm okay with it then. But she's literally espionage. She's becoming these
Yeah.
roles of people to play the part. So overall, thought this was great. Thought this was a great character spotlight to do too. But next week we're going to be talking about, excuse me, any trailers that come out if there are any.
It was nice not having trailers this week.
Kind of have to agree with you. The next 3 episodes of Andor and the latest episode of The Last of Us, and that's going to be it with a character spotlight from you. But for
Mhm.
now, if you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Eel Podcast. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.